You're watching Newsday TV. I'm Ken Bufa. Two Long Island sisters are sharing their heartache after their father and several other family members were kidnapped by Hamas in Israel. Steve Langford has this story.
On 10 in the morning, my father started to write me a message that they hear voice of
Two sisters from Israel recounting the horror of the morning of October 7th when their father texted them that Hamas was breaking into their home in the south of Israel before breaching the safe room where their father, his partner, and three other family members had been hiding.
They shooting everything, they broke everything. And he sent kisses for all of us.
At the Yismach Moshe Synagogue in Woodmere, Rinat Har-Shelig and her sister Natalie have just arrived from Israel to tell the story of their 5 family members kidnapped almost exactly a month ago, along with more than 200 others now presumed to be hostages in Gaza.
We came until the United States to show our faces, that the face of the family, that we are not the same anymore from the 7th of October.
Families from Israel are being flown in for events like this across the country. In Hebrew, Natalie Har recalls celebrating Rosh Hashanah with her family in mid-September when her father said what he hoped for in the coming year was simply to enjoy time with his children and grandchildren. Nothing will ever be the same, she adds, for her family, for Israel, for Jews. Former New York State Assemblyman Dov Hikind, who's hosting the two sisters from Israel, declares this is a watershed moment for American Jews, too.
Jews are not running anymore from the bad guys, from the anti-Semites. No more running from anti-Semites.
The two sisters haven't heard a word from their kidnapped family members since October, but express the hope they are still alive.
Please bring them home now.
Steve Langford for Newsday TV.
Now, to read more about this story, go to Newsday.com, click Get More, below the Newsday TV video box. And only in Newsday, a Dix Hills couple is mourning their son who died in a plane crash in Australia. 22-year-old William Joseph Jennings was among 3 people killed when their twin-engine plane flown by a firefighting company crashed on Friday. He was working for a bush fire aerial surveillance company in the remote outback.
You know, Will, people live their whole life, and he got more in his 22 years that some people get in their whole life. So, you know, it's still a shame, but we were just so grateful to have him for that time. He
was so joyous, always had a smile on his face. He was just our rock. He was everything to us, and we miss him terribly.
The Australian government says the cause of the crash is under investigation. An arrest in a deadly Hempstead stabbing. Cops say Melvis Hernandez of Hempstead killed Marlon Rivas Aguilar of Freeport. It happened about 2 weeks ago in an apartment building on Jackson Avenue. No word yet on a possible motive. And there's new video tonight from police. They say this suspect has stolen FedEx packages from half a dozen homes in Massapequa, Massapequa Park, and Wantagh. They were taken between October 5th and October 13th. And first in Newsday, SUNY will offer paid internships to student veterans at 20 campuses. The initiative includes Farmingdale State College, too. It's an effort to promote enrollment among current and former members of the military. Farmingdale State College has the highest percentage of veterans for the size of its student body of any SUNY campus. And nearly 1,400 unionized PSEG Long Island workers just ratified a new 4-year contract. It provides for a 15.5% wage increase during the period. And Election Day is tomorrow. The polls will open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. The biggest race on the island, of course, is this year it's Suffolk County Executive. There's also battles for the Nassau and Suffolk County legislatures, as well as several other town and city races. Now, to watch the Suffolk County Executive debate and to get in-depth coverage on all the races, go to Newsday.com, click Get More below the Newsday TV video box. All right, to sports now. The Mets have a new manager. A source confirms to Newsday that Carlos Mendoza will now lead the Amazons. The 43-year-old has spent the past 4 seasons as the Yankees bench coach. And Daniel Jones is done for this season. The Giants confirmed today that the QB sustained a torn ACL in his right knee in the team's 30-60 loss to the Raiders yesterday. You see it there. Ouch. All right, let's take a look at your Long Island weather. It's going to be a gorgeous election day tomorrow. You can see temps are climbing into the mid-60s. Take a look. 66 degrees for the high with clouds and sun overhead.
Long Island weather is brought to you by Home Tax Saver, PTRC Incorporated.
Concerns over the landfill and redevelopment are 2 of the biggest issues in Brookhaven. Macy Eglin and Carl McGowan have a story you'll see only in Newsday.
We are taking a closer look at the issues voters are really focused on as we get closer to Election Day. Carl McGowan is our Town of Brookhaven reporter. We know a big talking point in Brookhaven is the landfill, especially following Newsday's investigative report on that.
One way or another, Brookhaven is going to have a new supervisor come January, and whoever that person is going to inherit a couple of pretty big complex issues, and probably by far the biggest is the landfill, which is like Long Island's 800-pound gazilla of an issue. The current administration has said it plans to start closing the landfill at the end of next year. The next supervisor is going to have to decide whether to continue with that schedule or adopt a different plan.
Sounds like some redevelopment projects and revitalization projects in the works are also of concern to some residents. What's the latest on that?
So there are several revitalization projects that are already underway, mostly in the planning stages. There aren't any shovels in the ground yet. But these are areas where, by and large, people have decided that they want to see redevelopment.
Any other concerns that you've been hearing from residents during your reporting in Brookhaven?
So another thing that the town initiated a couple of years ago and that it got implemented this year was an attempt to try to control natural gas costs. But it didn't exactly go as planned. So some people found that the bills with the new system were actually higher than what they had been paying.
Oh.
So the next supervisor is probably going to want to take a look at that and decide whether to continue or try something else.
All right. Thank you, Carl.
To read more about the issues in Brookhaven and what matters in your town, go to Newsday.com, click Get More below the Newsday TV video box.
High school sports is sponsored by PC Richard & Son.
The football playoffs are here, and we had some unbelievable action. Hi, I'm Greg Sarah. We had record-breaking performances in the quarterfinal round of the football playoffs. What a weekend. Let's start with Nassau Conference 2, a matchup between Elmont and New Hyde Park. And New Hyde Park, they're heading to the semifinal round at Hofstra. This will be the Gladiators' first time in a county semifinal. Ready for this? In 24 years. Quarterback Aiden Garvey, he led the way again. He totaled 283 yards, including 189 on the ground, and he passed for 1 score and ran for another. New Hyde Park avenged an earlier defeat to Elmont with a 22-6 playoff win. They will take on undefeated Garden City in the semifinal round. To Suffolk Division III. Wow. This, if you will, it'll go down as one of the greatest high school football games ever played, especially if you like PlayStation type of feel. These guys went up and down the field and scored on almost every possession. Half Hollow Hills West and Smithtown West played an epic quarterfinal playoff game. Junior quarterback Joseph Filardi stole the show. He set a Long Island record with 10 total touchdowns and 651 all-purpose yards. His main target was receiver Anthony Rayo, who had 15 receptions for 266 yards and 4 scores. Half Hollow Hills West outlasted Smithtown West 70-68. Think about that. The 138-point total is the second most in a game in Long Island history. Smithtown West wide receiver Jack Mallory, he broke the Long Island record for single game with 17 receptions, and he totaled 7 touchdowns. Amazing performances on both sides of the ball. His quarterback Braden Stoll, he threw for 433 yards. Filardi, he tells us about the wildest football game he's ever been in.
Us scoring just back and forth. I did think of whoever had the ball last would win, but we did make a huge stop. Mike Red with that interception, I think, really sealed the game for us.
The team takes on top-seeded Sayville in the semifinals this Friday. Wow, what a weekend. For more on these teams and more exclusive local sports stories, go to Newsday.com, click Get More below the Newsday TV video box.
There's a new shop for those with and without a green thumb. Elisa DiStefano has a story you'll see only in Newsday.
It's a place for all things plants.
This is like a plant lover's paradise in here. I try.
Willow and Bloom in Wading River grew from Chrissy Pernak's passion for plants.
I've always been into plants. My dad and my mom have had green thumbs my whole life, and I noticed during COVID that I just kept collecting more plants in the house. It became something I really enjoyed and kind of fed my soul. There's lots of plants for beginners, plants for advanced, and everything in between.
The shop just opened last month, but its roots run deep.
When my nanny had passed away in 1996, my dad had acquired some plants from her funeral, but also some that she had before she had passed away. And those plants are still in the store. Kind of did spark a little bit of the passion of what Willow and Bloom is now.
You could come take a piece for free or bring in your old plant to be repotted.
I make my own soil here. It's a mixture, so you can come in. I can do it right for you here.
This is the plant hospital, so people maybe like me with no green thumb or have a plant problem, they can bring their plants to you.
Yes, I will do my best to be the plant doctor and help them try to figure out maybe what's wrong with their plant.
So this is kind of your operation area, your operating table.
Yeah, I have a friend who dropped this one off. It had some root rot, so I cut off the root rot. I let it dry out a little bit, so I'm gonna repot it for her and then stake it up, try to give it a little fertilizer.
A little fertilizer and a lot of love.
Chrissy says Willow and Bloom has helped her to grow too.
Being a mom and a special needs mom and a wife, you're always feel like you're doing a lot for everyone else. I felt like for a while I lost myself, and I feel like this is giving me back something just for myself. I felt like I was blooming and blossoming, and I felt like that had to be a part of something.
Elisa DiStefano, Newsday TV.
Now, to read more about Willow and Bloom, go to Newsday.com, click Get More below the Newsday TV video box.
Newsday has complete coverage of the races affecting Long Island with regular updates from Newsday TV's state-of-the-art studio and interactive voter's guide to all races in Nassau and Suffolk counties. Your source for election coverage is Newsday.com/LI votes.
Thanks for watching. I'm Ken Buffa. We'll leave you with a look at your 7-day forecast.